Hieronymus! I rush forward as I wrap my arms around Hieronymus, burying my face in his chest. I feel his arms wrap around me as he buries his face in my hair, and for a moment, we just stand there, holding each other, each of us relieved that the other was safe. I'm surprised, Jason says suddenly. I did not think that you were pure enough to enter this realm, Hieronymus. This gets my attention immediately, and I quickly pull away from Hieronymus as I look up and around me. Hieronymus, Jason, and I are all standing on nothing but a pure white surface. In fact, there is nothing but empty white space all around us. We might as well be floating in the middle of a giant cloud. Where are we? I ask him, suddenly realizing what the scrying orb was trying to tell me. Another dimension, Jason replies. I believe you missed this lesson in your classes, but there are many more dimensions than just the other world, Tori. I pause as I consider him. So why did you bring me here? Why did you use the solemn bond to save my life? What do you want with me? What is this place? Do you plan to hurt Tori? Hieronymus asks darkly. No, Hieronymus, Jason answers with a shake of his head. As I have already informed Tori, I am not Jason Coleman. No, you just took over his body after he died. I scoff. Jason chuckles as he shakes his head. There are many things that you don't yet understand, Tori. However, you have a pure heart and strong ideals. You're not swayed by others' opinions of you, and you have an almost obsessive need to do right by others. You have a lot to offer the world. And the council. What are you saying? I ask. What do you want with me? We want you to join the council, he says smoothly, and my jaw drops as I stare at him. Wait a minute, you said you worked for the council, I remind him. You mean you're actually on the council? Like, you make decisions about the rules for how magic is used and governed and all that? And all of that, Jason replies with a tight smile. We only intervene in the matters of your dimension when absolutely necessary. In the case of Iris Academy, it was necessary. Potsdam was well aware that Damien had concealed your memories from you, and yet she chose to let those events unfold to allow Hieronymus' feelings for you to develop. She has manipulated and hurt many Wild Sea children over the past decade, and it is only fate that we intervened precisely when you needed us. But why perform the solemn bond? I ask him. Did you only do it because you felt bad about what Potsdam was doing to me? You were well-intentioned, Jason continues. You have all the right qualities that we look for. Hard-working, devoted, courageous, selfless, empathetic. Even before the solemn bond, you felt a strong link to your magic because you and your magic share the same indisputable qualities. Magic is pure, much purer than any human can be. But if we had to put me on a scale of like pure to not pure, I'm pretty high up there on the pure scale, I ask, and Jason nods. So compare me to someone like Keo. Since he's not pure, even though he's fully magical born, I still have stronger connection to my magic than he does? Jason nods again. But why? Why are your eyes that shade of blue? He asks. Why does your nose sit at just that angle? It is simply the way you are born. The three kindred send spirits out into the world to find human vessels to inhabit, and thus we are born. We call this process life. I pause as I consider this. So if I'm on the council, what would I have to do? Go around to different dimensions where there are magical imbalances and help figure out why and set things right again? Jason opens his mouth to speak, but Hieronymus is quick to interrupt me. I think you should first explain that, should Tori choose to join the council. she would never be able to see me or her friends again. What? I demand loudly as I turn back to face him. Hieronymous looks away, and I glance back and forth between them. Wait, is he right? He is correct, Jason says softly. When you work for the council, you surrender your natural state to remain as objective and free of bias as possible. Instead, you will move from vessel to vessel, from epoch to epoch, helping to keep the balance of magic and protect its virtue from the low world. From epoch to epoch? I ask. What do you mean by that? Do you mean that you're actually immortal? There is no such thing as immortality, he replies, but death is something that you only experience in corporeal form. The vessels that everyone, inhabit will eventually fail. The spirit, though, Tori, the spirit does not fail. The spirit continues to live on. So, after we die, what happens to the spirit? I ask nervously. Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Is there a Summerland that we all get to go to so I can live with my friends and family forever? Or is it like the 5 people you meet in heaven type deal? Because those are questions I cannot answer, he replies. Can't because you don't know, or can't because you're forbidden from answering? I ask, and Jason doesn't respond. I look back towards Hieronymous again, but he has his back turned towards me. Anyway, I say quickly, I can't go with you. Potsdam told me that I was pregnant. I'm not sure how that works, but... You're not pregnant, he replies, and I stare at him. Even Hieronymous finally turns around to face him. What was that? He asks quietly. I'm so sorry, Tori, Jason continues. You are not pregnant. Potsdam only said what she did to put Hieronymous in a vulnerable position. You are not pregnant, nor will you be able to become pregnant due to the injuries you sustained in your battle with Damien. He physically destroyed your body. Green magic was able to restore your organs, but the injuries you sustained were just too great for your body to be made whole. It's why green magic can repair a wound but cannot cure someone of cancer. The body was never meant to be interminable. Some trauma is just too immense to overcome. You can't know that, Hieronymous snaps angrily. There's no way you can know that. Hieronymous? I ask softly, and he whirls around to look at me. I think he's right. Remembering how I kept obsessing over it all last year just makes me think that, I don't know, I always just had a feeling, but now that he said it, it just feels right. Not that it feels right, but it makes sense. I always had a feeling that I couldn't, but it makes sense. Hieronymous just shakes his head as he steps away from me, as if he doesn't know what to say. Neither do I. I need a decision, Tori, Jason says quietly. I understand that this is not a choice that you can make lightly. Take some time to discuss it with Hieronymous. I will give you 2 a moment to decide what you want to do. He teleports away, and I can't help but walk over to Hieronymous and wrap my arms around him, burying my face in his chest again. I can't do it, I tell him suddenly. The words left my lips, almost without me being aware of them. I can't do it, Hieronymous. I can't just leave you. You should do it, Hieronymous says quietly, and he pulls me away from him as he holds me at an arm's length in front of him. From the moment I met you, I knew there was something special about you. There was something that I was drawn to, and I didn't know what it was. Maybe it was your magic, or your light, or just you, Tori, but I always knew that you were special, and now you have the chance to do something with it. You can go out into the world and help people, just like you always wanted. But Then I wouldn't be able to be with you anymore, I remind him. I can't hold you, or kiss you, or touch you. But this is bigger than me, he says firmly. This is bigger than us. You have the ability to do real good, Tori. You'd have the power to protect wild seeds. You'd have the ability to stop injustice from happening. Think about what happened to Miss Middleton. Think about what happened to Miss Ellis. You would be able to stop that from happening to others. But Jason was right there, I counter. Jason was on the council and Ellen got expelled right in front of him. If he's omniscient, why didn't he save her? No one says the council is omniscient, Tori, he offers. Not much is known about the council for a reason, and I have learned more in the past few minutes than I have in my entire life. I suspect that this is information I will not be allowed to remember, of course, but this is larger than me. I know it hurts now, Tori, but you need to do this. Would you do it? I ask him. If the shoe was on the other foot, would you leave me to join the council? Hieronymous just offers me a sad smile as he reaches forward and tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. Fortunately, I don't have to make that decision. I pause for a moment as I think it over. So I won't be able to help everyone, but I can still help some people? Hieronymous nods. You will be helping people just as you've always felt compelled to. He leans forward as he kisses my forehead. I am so proud of you, Tori. It has been such a privilege to be by your side the past few years. I don't have words to express. The emotion in his voice betrays him as he wraps his arms around me suddenly, and I hug him back just as fiercely. I love you more than anything, I whisper softly, and Hieronymous just nods into my shoulder. I love you too, Tori, he whispers. Always. Even if I can't be with you, even if I can't see you, I will still love you. Always. Okay, I say quickly, nodding to myself. Okay, then, I've made my decision. I see Jason suddenly teleport in behind Hieronymous, and I quickly pull away from him as Hieronymous turns his back on both of us so he can wipe at his face with his sleeve. You've made your decision? Jason asks, and I nod. So, have you decided to accept our proposal and join the council? No, I reply happily, and Hieronymous whirls around to face me. No? He demands suddenly. No, Tori. You said it yourself, I reply brightly. I'll be able to help some people, but not everyone. That's the same as it is now, isn't it? I can still devote my life to helping others and use my position as Hieronymus' Viscountess to do it. I won't be able to help everyone, but I'll help as many people as I can during my one short lifetime. And, at least this way, I'll still be able to do it with Hieronymus beside me. Hieronymus' jaw moves up and down, but he says nothing as I turn back to Jason. I guess I'm not that selfless after all, I say with an idle shrug of my shoulders, and Jason just chuckles under his breath. I think you're more selfless than you realize, Jason says. It was a true pleasure to know you, Tori. I mean that. Likewise, I reply. Take care of her, Jason says as he turns to Hieronymus. Hieronymus nods as he wraps his arms firmly around me. I will. I will teleport you both back to your school, he explains. As you suspected, Hieronymus, I cannot allow either of you to remember this conversation. If we're not allowed to remember this conversation, can you answer one question for me? I ask, and Jason nods. Is this really what this world looks like? Is it really just empty white space? Jason smiles. No, Tori. This plane is concealed from your vision. Should you have accepted our offer, you would have been able to see it. Oh well, I say with a shrug. Even if it's paradise, it wouldn't be worth going if I couldn't take Hieronymous with me. Take care of each other, Jason says as he holds up his hands. I can feel Hieronymous tighten his grip on me, and the world suddenly fades to black.